We're going to go over tricep extension on the pullover machine. So one big thing that I'm going to showcase today is a little bit of it's kind of like a drop set, but what it is you're having a full out stretch in the midst of your set. So basically holding that stretch for a good 10 seconds and then continue on from there. So to use this machine for an overhead extension, you're going to lean in till you get that full stretch here, and you're just extending. And for that stretch, so basically you would go until you start to die, until you start to do partials, and then hold that stretch. Get your breath in. So a lot of people, when they get to that point where they're going to fail, they start holding their breath. So this gives them a chance to get a few good deep breaths, hold it for like 10 seconds. Stretch is going to increase, and then you're popping off from there. Try to get as many as you can. You might get 5, you might get 6. And you're going to keep going until you all the way to fail. So that is another great way to do a tricep extension on a different variation of machine. Gives you that good angle and everything like that. So if you're doing it for the first time, I would definitely do it in a machine that you have basically proper form, and I would do it in a way where you had some sort of partner. So somebody there just in case that you couldn't hold the stretch. Say if you were doing it in overhead extension on a cable and you were standing up from a low to high, if you can't hold that stretch, you're running the risk of tearing something. So having that partner there to grab the cable if you can't hold that stretch or you can't get another rep out of the stretch would be a best proper way to do it. So I was just doing it that way. You can do it in a dumbbell curl. So basically once you get to the point where you're curling and you just basically sit there and you hold the dumbbells in the full stretch. Let your biceps stretch right out, and then you get a couple more. Or a cable curl. I find is really, really great for arms because arms are one of those things that, for me, tend to really grow with a lot more blood. And that's essentially what you're doing, is you're putting a lot more blood into the muscle rather than doing it in a way that just putting too much weight on. So you can lighten the weight up, but also you can do it in a way to make optimal growth. So that is my opinion on that.
How do you know when you're actually feeling a stretch, or you're just kind of on the joint?
So if you're feeling on the joint, you're going to feel it directly on the joint and the tendon. So you're more so going to feel it in here. And a good way to get away from that is take a step in and drive your elbows up. So what a lot of people do is they tend to bring their elbows down, and that changes where that tension is. So basically you're holding it on the tendon and the joint rather than on the muscle, so it's up and behind your head. So a lot of people, what they need to do is they need to think, what's your technique? Are you going straight up over, or are you pushing it ahead? So you want it straight up over. Well, I'll demonstrate it right here. So if I start bringing my elbows down, see right now, me holding this, all the tension's on my elbow. But if I bring myself to a point where elbows are up near my ears, now it's all on the muscle and not on the tendon. So it comes down to technique. So if you're truly feeling it in the joint or near the joint, that is where your issue becomes an issue. And then you should basically adjust your technique from there.